And the second one is about the product that we are developing, like turmeric, which other countries tried to plagiarize it, but we got it back, the patent, and ashwagandha, etc. So today's topic is about such one beacon leader who is making change, a great impact, and ripples in our country, in the rural parts of Telangana. And she's none other than Srimati Chandana Dasari, IAS officer. And soon we'll be knowing more about her and speaking and understanding what her vision is, what her background is, and what she wants to accomplish in the future. But before that, I am Cynthia Padala. I am the president and founder of Sarah Smart Villages. And our vision is to help the rural women in Telangana and Andhra to become sustainable and earn better livelihoods. And how do we do that? We actually adopt villages as clusters. And this is our fourth cluster in Narayanpet that we have adopted, with four villages and 5 tandas, where we identify women beacon leaders. We train them, help them with crop diversification, and also at the same time help them establish some units so that they can implement the entire supply chain management into their lives and also get better livelihoods. So that said, today's agenda, as Roy mentioned, is about leaders and people who are actually inspiring and leading us and giving us motivation to become better citizens globally and locally too. So I would like to call Manjula to introduce the speaker, and then I'll be playing a small video. It's a 4-minute video. And once that is done, the floor is all open for Srimati Harichandana ma'am to view or speak her thoughts and mind. Manjula, it's all to you.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody, and good evening also. I'm Manjula Kawadi, graduated in computer science in the early 90s from Osmania University, and moved to US ever since. I've been living for the last 20 plus years in US and been working here. I'm part of the Global NRI Forum team. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to introduce our very prolific and distinguished guest, Mrs. Harichandana Dasari Garu, to the team. She is an IAS officer par excellence. She is a very active and dynamic leader who's been creating a difference in many lives by her very innovative solutions in eco-friendly initiatives, green and sustainable projects. Rural women empowerment, feed the need, dog parks, etc., to name a few. Now you can go ahead and play the video, I guess.
Yeah, Cynthia, when you're ready, can you play the video?
Yes. Thank you, Manjula.
Thank you.
Let's share my screen. And this video does not have a background music. So please mute yourselves, everyone, so that can you all see my screen?
Yep, it is good. It's playing. Now you can play the video. The video is on the screen.
Good morning, Roy.
Rashikar, you can see that on the live, the screen share?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I think the video is good. A light music would have been really helpful.
I know. I tried.
Yeah,
Probably
Mahesh,
it's
there is no back. Mahesh is asking for a music. That's next time we will introduce music.
technical difficulties as usual.
Yeah, friends, we are not in mute. There is a video playing in the background. You can see on the screen. So after video is done, and Harichandana Garu is going to speak.
These are all the social impact projects that Harichandana ma'am actually.
Yeah, in fact, actually, you can speak while the video in play. Okay, Cynthia, in the background.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can do that.
yeah, wherever a
You
project.
can add some background music. Can you all hear it?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
And this is a
It's
block
better
printing
Cynthia.
training.
It's better Cynthia explain. Just to give
Yeah.
a background, Cynthia, go ahead. That's better than music.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
so why don't I start from the beginning? Is that okay?
Oh, no. Please continue from where
All
you
right.
are.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So this is these are all the social impact projects. 800 bicycles were donated to the rural women, girls especially. And ma'am was actually helping a lot of this self-help group women to get self-empowered and make products. So diyas were few of those. And this is a very innovative meat market that was launched recently, and she's award winner and appreciated by several of the beacon leaders in the country, and also PM Modi ji also spoke about her accomplishments, and she has ardently supported several projects, including our project, which is Nirvana, a 10-acre Aushadhi Vanam that we are working in collaboration with tribal women of Narayanpet for 5 villages of tribal women. Sorry about that. And then basically our vision is to bring all these lack of technology and all these things are the reasons why our country is still considered as a still developing country. And we wanted to support the tribal women and rural women to establish the entire supply chain management over there, including making products. So Collector ma'am has ardently supported us, and we also have other organizations, national and international organizations, who are supporting us in training the tribal women. And the collector and minister and MLA sir also are supporting us from the back end. And these women, we identify the beacon leaders and we train them. We send them to different organizations to get trained on different other types of crops that they can grow. And we also distributed free seeds, and generously collector ma'am has actually given us a space in the collectorate to open a store over there. And so recently that store was launched also on August 15th. That was one accomplishment also, because the products that these women make, those products need to be sold somewhere. And whenever we request anything to ma'am, she would always identify a venue to fulfill our wishes. And this is one of the venues where she gave us some land near the collectorate, and we established a shop, and now the women are selling their products like millet biscuits and all that. And the future is to make some more units, and I'm gonna continue. Of course, Niranjan Reddy Garu, MLA Garu, also are aware of our projects. And basically, the idea behind this project is to create an integrated model in the rural areas itself, so that farmers will understand. They don't have to go to the cities to actually understand what the crop diversification is or different technologies are, but we want to bring everything to the rural areas so that farmers will have a better understanding and next to them. And the next steps for us is to establish manufacturing units over here and a farmer training center too, so that the farmers who are around these villages can actually utilize these units and benefit out of them by paying some small nominal fee to these units. So that is the brief background of what we have been working on in Narayanpet, but it's more about what the collector ma'am has been doing before that, and how she has inspired several people, because in the first year itself, during COVID, she has launched so many different projects in Narayanpet to support women, to support weavers, and also to support marginal farmers. So that said, I would like
Thank
to.
you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cynthia. If you can stop sharing the screen, we'll go to the next agenda topic, okay? Can you stop sharing the screen? Thank you very much. After we started the meeting, and almost 1/3 of the people joined, new people joined. For the benefit of them, I'm just going to recap here. So Rajshekhar and Vinay, and this focus is not switching, okay, on the screen. So can you look at? So here is, the eminent leaders, Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Ambedkar and Martin Luther King, and they all spoke about one thing in common: women. Women empowerment is the key. And I'm going to focus on Dr. Ambedkar, the one who has done so much for the women. He's the liberator of women in India, and giving them a voting power, giving them access to the legislative chambers, giving them access to the bureaucratic system. So what he said, Dr. Ambedkar, I'm quoting here, I measure the progress of a community, replace community with country, because community, country are same. I measure the progress of a community by the degree of which the women made progress in the country. And here is an example for the development. Chandana Garu, she's an IAS officer, and she has done so much in these 12 years. She's 2010 batch, and her education, her work, and if you follow the Twitter and the Facebook, the topics of her interest are the topics of interest to the country: rural development, agriculture, environment, tribals, and oppressed people. And I was listening to one of the video. She was interviewed, and that journalist asked the question, why you wanted to be an IAS officer? She said, I was a baby girl. I was watching my father, how he was helping the poor and needy. And there itself, I was inspired, and I wanted to become an IAS officer. Many people become IAS officers, politicians, for the power, money, for the prestige. She became an IAS officer to help many more of those little girls at the time she was. And you can go to her website, Harichandana IAS. There's a lot of information and projects, initiatives. She worked on it, and she's very active on Twitter. You can follow her, and you can know. And she's the one thing I emphasize is her education from London School of the London School of Economics, and she was recognized by British Council of Alumni for the social impact through her work. And admins, please control this person, okay? He's interrupting. So she worked as an assistant collector in Vizag, sub-collector in Vijayawada, and then after the bifurcation of Telangana, she worked in GHMC, then became a collector of Narayanpet. And thank you with that introduction. And I'm going to invite our special guest, eminent speaker, and Harichandana Agar to speak for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It is flexibility for you. And after that, we are going to go into question and answers. And thank you again for this opportunity to host. It is jointly hosted by the Global NRI Forum. It is a federation of NRI organizations interested in education, healthcare, and social justice, women empowerment. And in collaboration with Sarah, it's an NGO organization that Cynthia spoke about it. Thank you very much. Harichandana garu.
Yeah. Thank you, Roy, Garu, and Cynthia for the wonderful introduction. I should say this has been very overwhelming to hear about myself. But I'm very happy to be a part of the session today where I'm talking to all the Global NRI Forum members and all of you, interacting with all of you, though digitally. It's wonderful to see such like-minded people, and there's so many people interested in development and empowerment, and also to see that we reach further heights across the world. So it's heartening to see all the efforts that you have been putting in from the Global NRI Forum, and also the interest that all of you are showing towards development initiatives way back in India. So, firstly, congratulations to all of you for all the wonderful work you're doing so far and what you hope to achieve in future. And having said that, I think Cynthia has been telling a lot, and also the video was covering about all the initiatives that we did in Narayanpet. Just to share, I have always been interested in working with women because I think the strength of a woman is unbeatable. And if you see, especially rural women, mostly people think that, urban women are forward, they are well developed, or they're more educated. But what I have seen in rural areas and working for about 3 years in Narayanpet district, which is, as you know, as you all know, is a part of the erstwhile Mehboob Nagar and one of the most backward areas you can find in Telangana. And with the development of new districts, it has seen a new transformation. So we have been working very hard to see that the outmigration of labor, which happens traditionally from this district, has been stopped. So I took on the reins of the district during the testing times of COVID. So 2 years, literally, we were struggling with a lot of factors like across the world, what everybody has been going through. And we saw a lot of, firstly, we started seeing a lot of inflow of people back to the district. So people who were already migrating out to other places had to come back during COVID. And there was a lot of economic crunch and also a familial impact on all these people who were coming back. So that's when my journey started in working with these rural communities, and also how to, as a district collector, we had to figure out how to, keep them engaged, keep them active. So we started firstly with weavers. When the peak of COVID was happening, we had locked down every part of the country, as you all know, and many people could not move across the district. And the weavers community, which was there in Narayanpet, it's primarily mostly women are weavers, and they were suffering a lot because they had very limited stocks and they could not sell their stocks across the borders towards Maharashtra, Karnataka, which were the traditional markets. So that's when we got this idea of working with them, and I started a simple initiative of buying all the stocks from the weavers through our local SHG networks and funding, and made the SHG women turn these cloth into masks. So that simply gave them a profit during COVID of about 25 to 30 lakhs. So that started the initiative which of Arunya, which Cynthia has been telling you all about. And that's when I realized the strength of a woman, and especially the perseverance of rural women. We all think that, they can't do much, they don't know what to do, they're uneducated, they are, all these perceptions that we carry about these women were proved wrong to me with this initiative. And that's when I realized that all these women, after the mask making initiative, which we had done through the SFGs, they'd all come back. They'd all come back with different ideas on how to make more products. One of them wanted to make hand paintings on cloth, on fabric, and there are many, and in fact, many women of these communities are all from the backward communities. So all of the backward communities are mostly into weaving, and they are usually exploited by middlemen who buy the stock for very cheap prices and sell them in Hyderabad and other big markets for a lot more profit than what these women get. So on an average, a weaver gets about 150 to 200 per day's labor, which is way below the wage that they have to get. So these are all things which prompted us to move and take up this initiative, Arunya. And after that, what we started was initially what I realized, and what many of the initiatives that we were taking up from the government side, we realized was many people do not have branding or market help. We have been training from the government, we've been training women continuously over the last 10, 15 years, as you all are aware, through the SAG movement. But then the tangible results of them having a sustained income and also coming out of the poverty line was not happening. So we just went back to the drawing board and realized what was wrong. So the first thing that we, as a team from the district administration side, realized was most of these women are taught different skills. We are teaching them how to fish, but we are not teaching them how to market their fish. So that is where I had taken up this initiative of Arunya, and we decided to create an FPO for marketing all the products made in Narayanpet. So we just started pooling around 400 women are members of it today directly, and it indirectly benefits about 6 to 8,000 women with their different products. So whatever products are made by these self-help groups, we brand them, we market them. We also take all the due licenses for them. If it's a food product, all the FSI products, and if it is any oil or any kind of extraction, like what we have been doing with Cynthia's team, Sarah Trust in Narayanpet. So all these licensing, all the processing, all the hand holding, also all the market interaction. And many of these women, though they have brilliant ideas, they're good with hard work, and they want to make a sustained income for their families. They have other priorities. They have to take care of the family also, and they have to probably spend time with their with the daily chores. So with these limitations in mind, we have created this initiative, and today I'm very proud to say it is an enterprise which is has a turnover of more than 5-6 crores within 2 years, and it's still going strong. I have recently left Narayanpet, and I still support this initiative. Also, towards the end, we were working with Sarah Trust and trying to come out with a tribal group, Nirvana, which she has been talking about. This is a very unique initiative that we've taken up in Narayanpet. From the district administration side, we have given them about 10 acres of common land, government land, and this land can be utilized for growing medicinal crops and also having a common facilitation center. Also, many, like I said, through Arunya, we realized that the initiative is there with a lot of people, but how to harness that initiative, how to see that it reaches a wider market, and how to turn it into an economic benefit is what we have to look at. Simply supporting somebody with skill training is just not what we should be aiming at. We should also be looking at how to handhold them and see that, like I said, we should not just teach people how to fish. We should also teach them how to market their fish and see that it benefits them. So that is the extra initiative that we had taken, and through Sarah, we were working on this. We've grouped together about 100 tribal women from 4 cluster villages, and from the government side, we had given them land and also some funding for fencing and also common infrastructure. And all these women, in future, we aspire to see them as better farmers, earning better incomes from their farm livelihoods. So far, they've been doing vegetables, which they sell locally, so they don't get a lot of profit out of it, or they don't get sustained wages for their homes. So if they have a higher income earning crop, that is what we've been working with, Sarah, which is medicinal crops, and also getting the nearby crops, also making them into marketable products. Like if you have lemongrass, which will probably sell in Narayanpet for 50, 60 rupees, would cost you much more in a global market or in a national market. So that is what we have to look at. That is how we have to bring in the global capabilities to these rural areas. And that's where the rural transformation actually begins. And we can achieve what we are all trying to do, seeing that the whole of rural India is transformed and is on par with the rest of the world. So that's an effort and an initiative which we have started. So I hope many of you have many more ideas to take that initiative forward. It was a recent initiative, and I'd still like to support it, though I'm not in heading Narayanpet anymore. But it's a wonderful initiative, and it would definitely transform the fate of those 4 villages that we had chosen for this, and also serve as a model for other villages and across rural India, to see that self-sustained models, and also these cooperative, I wouldn't call them cooperatives, but I would call comprehensive group marketing efforts and group collated efforts, which would help these women in many major ways. So I hope all of you come out with great ideas, and also give us better inputs on how to take these initiatives forward. Me and Cynthia, who have been working on these rural transformations. So that's about Narayanpet, and that's about the efforts that we have done. I would definitely love to interact with all of you, and hear your thoughts also on other initiatives that we can take up in future. I'm yet to take up a new assignment. I'm between my I've just finished my Narayanpet assignment, and will be soon joining a new assignment. But till then, would be wonderful to hear your thoughts on rural transformations. So thank you for having me with you all today, and look forward to further interactions.
Thank you so much, Harichandana. I think is these famous leaders, again back to Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi, and especially Mahatma Gandhi said, Pallele Pattukomalu. I think something closer translation. They all these the leaders, they spoke about the rural development. And thank you that, despite your foreign education and back to India, you always kept in touch with the roots and your passions. Thank you very much. So we are going into the question and answer session. When we call out names, they either ask a question or comment, not both, because we have number of people. We would like to give opportunity for all of them. And I like this comment or you made, the how to fish. You're taking that to the next level. How to market and how to sell it. So it is kind of self-employment, and that's where they're struggling most of the time, and that's where these traders exploiting these innocent rural people, uh, especially the farmers, poor farmers are being, you go to a village, the tomatoes are thrown out, give just for free, or maybe 5 kg on the same day. And after a few hours, you drive back to Hyderabad and go buy the same tomatoes. You pay 50 rupees or 100 rupees. That's a huge difference. The traders are exploiting this farmers. So we go into this question and answer section, and I'm going to call out a few names, and then we handpick them before of the meeting, and then you can raise your hand, you can share in the chat, and Ravali with me to help moderate the question and answer session. Ravali, are you there? Ravali Jajula. Ravali, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Ravali, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 30 seconds. So Hari Chandana garu, officers like you need to meet these kind of girls, wonder girls. I had a conversation with her about early part of this year. She said, "Sir, I want to go to America, but we are poor. I've, and thanks to the government, Ambedkar Vidyanidhi, it helped her. And we are poor. I don't know how to manage." And here she is now, sitting in this Zoom call, along with a guy with 25 years of America experience, and shoulder to shoulder, moderating this call. And she's at Sacred Heart University doing her master's in business analytics. Imagine what wonders a system can do if good things, if the system properly works. And that's Ravali Jajala. Ravali, please introduce yourself. Ravali, please introduce yourself. Are you here?
Hi, good morning, good evening, and my name is Ravali. I'm 21 years old from Telangana. I moved to US in March to do my master's in digital marketing. So it's been a very good experience, working with the Global NRI Forum when I started my application and my journey to US. So with the help of those scholarships and all, today I'm in US and doing all these things, and I'm able to sit in this Zoom call and moderate all these things. So, and I wish that this good things happen to so many people and so many women in Telangana and across India and across the world. Yeah.
Thank you. So Harichandana garu, those are, I think I know we are going to have many more calls in the future, how we can partner in different areas, especially the education and social justice, women empowerment, and rural development. We have a number of my colleagues, and I call some of them as seniors, mentors. They're here. They're going to talk to you, interact with you, go more deeper into. So Ravali and myself will go and back and forth asking calling out people. So first one is Dr. Venkat Marozu. He's based in Boston. He's an MIT scholar, and he's PhD from Old Dominic and Usman University. And I work with him almost. I've been working closely with him on many issues since 18, 19 years. Dr. Venkat Marozu, please introduce yourself and ask question.
More than questions, just have some comments. Thank you, Roy, for organizing this wonderful, event today. So, Harichandana Garu, very nice to meet you. We heard a lot about you. In Telangana, we are very, very proud of, a Telangana woman coming from a very underprivileged background. See you in leadership qualities and standing out is not a small thing. We're all truly proud of your achievement and what you've been doing for our state and our communities in India. Okay, so that way you really stand out and a role model for a lot of us. So I just to give a quick background, I grew up in Jangam town until 12th grade. Then I came to US, studied engineering and came to US. And so the important thing is we all, I mean, most of us here worked a lot on Telangana movement. So we all have, we live, most of us in United States, but our heart and body, soul is in motherland. It's a very ironic situation sometimes, the technology and the connectivity and mobility makes you participate, be effective. So wherever you are, so that's a beauty. But yes, we live in United States, but try to. So in that context, we couldn't just admire the work you've been doing. Not many, bureaucrats are, fall into this category. So I might just give you more than, I very intimately work with. I have, I used to do a corporate job, but I quit about 10 years back, started a startup building software for small farmer agriculture. So I'll post it here. You can check it out when you have some time. It's called Source Trace. So we actually developed this platform for the last 10 years, and we have been very successful in Africa more than in India. So we have right now impacting about 2 million farmers around the world in 37 countries, and 60% of them actually in Africa. And so, all the things that you were talking about, these empowering FPOs, it's like a music to, my ears. Before this, I also tried to create a farmer cooperative for-profit company in the lines of, if you know, the really a famous Mulkanur cooperative in Nagar, right? So I studied a lot about that, and I had a little bit of a failed attempt, I would say. I came back to India and worked for 3.5 years on the ground in Hanamkunda, Warangal. So I can write a book about my perils in trying to work in a very straightforward, humble way. I gave up. Okay, I regrettable. I wanted to move back to India and stay there, but there are a lot of stories and learnings. Okay, then I started this company. So just giving that background, I'm one thing I can offer is our solution can be used primarily started with managing FPOs cooperatives. Okay, so in that regard, I'm actually will get in touch with the right people. I'll happy to offer this pro bono, free of cost to your cooperative. So that's something I'd be happy to do that. So I'll
Thank
probably
you.
take it up. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have any big question. But I know we are talking a lot about farmer agriculture, all that. But my little bit of my heart is very heavy when having worked with Telangana for so long and all that. How Telangana is being ruled, especially when it comes to education, my heart is bleeding. Okay, every day. So I just want to understand from you what is the status of public education, and I know this much. Touted and this manavuru manabadi. I know one of my friends works in district educational officer in Jangam. I keep track of what is happening. It's some progress has been made, but there's a lot needs to be done. So I just a little bit quick status on education if in Narayanpet, in the primary and elementary education up to high school.
That's actually a pertinent question. See, like you've heard of the Manavuru Manapadi, so it's obviously a good initiative. Also, Telangana government has started an initiative called Tolimettu. So you can look at it also. Now, the future, we've realized is English education because it's global and it opens up a lot of global vistas for a lot of people. So English education in all the schools is also being introduced gradually. So Tolimettu is a way of training the teachers and seeing that the students are globally equipped and can meet all the challenging times that we are facing. So we are since we are in the nascent stages, probably you're not able to see the results on ground. But as you know, development is a continuum. We have to start somewhere and we have to keep on progressing. So that is the stage we are in. And I see a lot of promise in this scheme of things because once teachers are trained, and as you know, many of the government school teachers, though it's been very maligned in a lot of places, I find them very highly qualified. And I can talk to you from the perspective of a very rural, backward district like Narayanpet, where the teachers themselves, the government school teachers, are the first step in introducing the students to their future. So these kind of schools also, you find the teachers have a lot of potential. Only thing is, and also they have a lot of promise. In Narayanpet, we had done a very experimental kind of an education system where we introduced coding skills to school children. And
Wow.
we were training about 11. Finally, I think the figure reads around 11,000 students, eight,
Wow.
9, 10 standard students. We've been teaching them coding skills. So the first thing I'd done for this was train the teachers, and the teachers showed so much of enthusiasm towards this new system, and they themselves have started teaching the next batch of students on coding skills. So we started with basics like using paper methodology for getting the students familiar with the coding technologies, and this was designed along with the University of Texas. So we just moved on to the next step, and the teachers showed a lot of promise. So I'm sure the education system is going to be much better in future with all these transformations that we are seeing. And Manavuru Manabadi is more on the physical infrastructure part, where all the school infrastructure is being upgraded. And also, as a part of the global NRIs, there is a lot of involvement by people who have studied in those schools. So if you are from Jangam and you want
Yeah.
to contribute to your school where you have studied in Jangam, you can definitely do that. Not just in terms of infrastructure, but maybe also developing the soft skills of the students, developing their confidence levels, and talking to them and saying that, see, I have gone to places, so you can do that. That itself, that spark itself is good for the students. So I see a lot of positivity. It's just starting out. So as you know, just planted plant, it will take some time for it to yield fruits, and we'll see the results in a year or so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's good to hear some.
Thank
good
you very
work
much,
from you.
Dr.
Thank
Venkatanna.
you.
I think we can offline collaborate with her. Thank you very much. And next, we'll call out, we need to have women ask questions. So any woman out there, please don't embarrass us. So either if nobody coming forward, we'll ask 3 women, Cynthia and Manjula and Ravali. One of you ask the question, please. And if any other women out there, please, men, this is a challenge for us. We need to bring them onto these Zoom calls. So including
Manjula
myself.
is there.
Manjula Kawadi. You want to ask the question? Or Ravali? Ravali, ask the question. I think you.
I can go.
Ravali.
If
Yeah, Cynthia, yeah, go ahead.
they're collecting their thoughts.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, I've been more than I know, ma'am is smiling. A very close associate of rural women over there, and I've heard so many things about how the officials are unfair to them. But and also Venkat just now spoke that when we come from US, we think all black and white and all straight lines. We can't do this curves and twists and turns. So that said, one backbone or beacon, a huge support for me was Harichandana ma'am. And ma'am, my question to you is, there are several other NRIs who would like to collaborate with, leaders like you. But the big problem that we all, or maybe most of us are facing, is the system itself. So what do you suggest? And how do we go about this kind of a situation? Because I must have stayed there for several years, and now I know a little bit of twisting and turning. But how about many others who are aspiring to contribute and support these initiatives? What do you suggest for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. How to overcome the hurdles? Yeah.
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 Yeah, actually, like how the previous speaker was also mentioning about what difficulties they faced in rural areas. I entirely understand because having worked in the private sector, I know how you work. Where you see the work culture there, and you see the work culture with government. All you have to see is that government is not against anyone, or even government officers are not against anyone, or they are not driving an initiative, but it's just that we see things from a different lens. We are wearing different glasses, so we see things from a different lens. And development is always a partnership. When a lot of actors come together, I have seen this in all my areas of work. I have worked in the extreme ends of let's say area wise. I worked in Hyderabad, which is urban, and I worked in the municipal administration sector, which is totally urban administration. And then I've moved to Narayanpet, where I had to work on rural development. So I've seen both ends of the continuum, I can say. And in both the areas, see, many officers are proactive. Many, I mean, if you're talking about it from an IAS officer's perspective, or even from the lower staff perspective. But the only thing is probably lacking is the communication gaps which happen in most of the areas. Like with Cynthia, so she couldn't see, government moves in a different way from the way the private sector moves. We do have to go through the the ladder, and also the file movement, and also approvals, because we are ultimately responsible for public welfare and also spending public money. So there is a factor of higher accountability in it. Like in a private sector, you can take the decisions based on your flexibility, but then a lot of factors are considered in a government setup. And then there are also a lot of actors which get involved, not just the government actors, the non-government actors also, who are watching you. You are in a glass bowl, so you have to be answerable to a lot of institutions and as well as individuals in the system. So that maybe makes some people reticent in interactions with all of you. But I would say, if you have the heart for it, if you have the heart for development, and you think that I want to make a difference, you have to keep on hammering away. It's like how Dr. Ambedkar said, and how the system will not change overnight, but we have to keep on working, and we have to have the commitment to make the difference. So that is where it will definitely come in. And I've seen that a little bit in Cynthia. So that's where I went all out to support her, because, she's been trying to work in the system and work with the system for a long time. So she has probably learned the nuances of it. And it's also like building up your business. You there is a time and there is a place for an idea. Many of you who have done startups, or who have gone out into the private sector, would relate with this. There is a time and place for every idea, so it has to click at the right time and the right positioning. So if you have to make it successful, maybe sometimes you have to swim against the tide also to do that. So if we are committed, and if we think that we have to make a difference, definitely things will fall in place. That is one. And next, the way of working with officers, or with any kind of development initiatives that you want to be a part of, is that convince them of your idea. It should always be a joint effort. If you think it's my idea and I will go at it alone, maybe you cannot do it. I mean, the way we worked with Cynthia's team in Narayanpet, I can just give you as an example. She had the idea for a Nirvana Vanam, and she also had the idea on how to bring these women together to form an FPO, and also form a collective collaborative effort in bringing them in sourcing all the plants, and also the processing units and all these things. So finally, again, once the idea is convincing enough, and ultimately your goal, our goal, everybody's is to see that development happens, and also the women are left in a better state than they were before we started. So if that commitment is there, once you are working towards a common goal, you have to understand the problems of the government officers also, and also the system itself on how it works. And probably they have to be a little more open to all the ideas that are coming forth. So once all this happen, once this collaboration happens, the best initiatives I have seen are the ones which have worked on partnerships, private, public, government, individuals, or even groups. So these are the models which have always worked, and development always has to be a stakeholder initiative. If you say, as a person, I am driving this initiative, it is not correct. Even for me, I was collector, but even then, I could just lead the initiative, I would say. I would ultimately say that our job is to empower these women and make sure that you handhold them only to that level. It's like having a child. Any initiative that we take up, we try to do the best we can for them. But after they're 18, after they're adults, we have to let them make their own choices and see how they progress. So we have to train these people, and any development initiative which works on this idea that I'm going to handhold to this extent and then leave them to self-sustain themselves, and always work backwards on the idea. Don't start with the idea that this will help them. Go and see if it be flexible on the field. That is what I would advise all of you, whoever wants to work on these initiatives or with government. You have to change. There's sometimes, maybe let's assume that medicinal plant initiative will not work with this woman. Then let us, maybe on the field, the women will all come together and suggest, see, this is our strength. We have oil seed plants, or we have different farming, maybe fruit orchard plantations would be more successful in our area. Then yes, we should definitely be flexible enough to change as we go with the scenario. Like when I worked in urban areas, I was working more on recycling. I was also working with women and trying to get them into the recycling sector, because that is a very crucial sector for not just the environment, but also for future sustainability, and also giving a steady income to these women. So that was the situation there. I never went into a job. I have done so many initiatives throughout my career, but I've never gone to the post or to a job thinking that I will do this. I went there, I saw the scenario, I developed on the situations of that place, and then that's how these initiatives came about. They were all situation based, and they were all rooted in that time and place. So that is where, if we are flexible and if we have the right intention, everything would fall in place. And definitely, there are not just me, I would say a lot of supportive officers would be interested in working with you all in taking up these initiatives.
Thank you very much. I thought this question is going to be a very controversial question, but what the message I am getting is, don't stereotype the government. No, but there are good points. Okay, the points are, have a right intention for what you want to try, and develop a partnership, and show your commitment to make the difference. Sell your idea, collaborate, and I know in your position you have limitations. You're telling us, I'm telling to other bureaucrats, politicians, follow these suggestions. Yeah, you answered very well. Thank you. I thought you're going to deflect it, but you answered it. You answered in very constructively, and you gave suggestions how to work around the system or work through the system. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll go. This meeting, the tone of this meeting is entirely different, and even the audience who came to this meeting, it's very, very good. Entrepreneurs, scholars, and we have another scholar. I think Mahendra, are you MIT or Harvard? Mahendra
MIT,
Jawar.
MIT.
MIT, yeah. So he's another MIT. He's an entrepreneur, and just give you a brief intro. He's from is from proud Nizamabad. I am from Nizamabad also. Mahendra, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
ask the
Roy.
question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Roy. It's very nice to meet you, Chandana garu. Your achievements are quite impressive. I myself, Dr. Mahendra Diwal, I'm a scientist and an entrepreneur. I worked at MIT. Now I'm running a small biotech company located between MIT and Harvard here in Cambridge, Boston area. So my question, I have two questions that are quite extensions for the previous persons asked, like Venkat's question as well as Cynthia's question. So you mentioned that the Manavuru Manabadi is mostly focusing on infrastructure, right? So my question is, I mean, education means it's not just walls and teachers, but also the resources, right? The books and things like that. Especially in this era, the digitization of education has been happening, right? So in this era, like, you may have noticed that during the COVID time, people have struggled for the Zoom classes. Is there anything is being done by the government or, administrators like you to provide kids in high schools some computer centers, better libraries providing the, you may also mention, importance of the English medium. That's fine, but without resources, how come they can achieve what they want to achieve? That's first question. The second question is the other side of what Cynthia asked, the hurdles. So the in the rural areas, the women or men, mostly the illiteracy is going to be the biggest problem. Especially when whoever is doing these handicrafts and things like that. So when you went to them to talk to them to introduce these novel ideas, how difficult was to gain their trust? Initially there's going to be a resistance probably, but how to win their hearts, and then once they trust, then they come to you and they excel. They are very smart, I know. So how difficult it was for you to gain their trust? So these two questions I have. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, Rajesh. I think pertinent questions. Coming to the infrastructure part, Manavuru Manabadi is not just buildings. It's also providing quality benches, quality chalkboards, not chalkboards actually, smart boards, and also giving the students computer labs and libraries in each of these schools that are being taken up. So the complete infrastructure, like not just hard infrastructure in terms of buildings, also the soft infrastructure, like teaching aids, teaching materials, everything is being provided. Also, Telangana has a very wonderful initiative called TSAT Network, which is connected to all our schools. In fact, I'd seen it in Narayanpet also, and during COVID, there was a gap of about 180 schools where we didn't have smart TVs or classrooms. So we did get together with a group of IT professionals from Hyderabad, and we had provided. I mean, we kind of collaborated from the district administration side and also from their side, and we have covered this infrastructure gap. So most of the schools and also it's mobile enabled, also laptop enabled for whoever have it. There's a network called TSAT, which gives all the classes and all the reading material which is available online. So students can just listen to the classes when they miss out. And this was done during COVID time. And COVID time also, teachers were given the task of, we were tagging one teacher with 20 students to monitor their worksheets and their progress sheets during COVID. So I would say the government school system managed pretty well during the COVID times. There are a lot of students who missed out on that. That would be the age group who were set to go to school, but could not go due to various reasons. So that itself is being covered up now, and this Tolimet 2, also this system of calling children to government schools. We've been doing special drives across the state. It's still going on. We just try to trace out all the students who are outside the school network, maybe working as child labor or even working at home. And we try to bring them actively back in to the system by using all the village and mandal level workers. So that is happening. I see a great promise for our education system if we stay on track and if we complete all this Manavuru Manabadi and all the Stolimettu proposals that we are seeing. So it is going to go great guns in a few. But like I said, development, you cannot see an immediate result. You will see it after a few years or after a few days. So that is. And like you said, you have scholars like Manjula or just Roy Garu was mentioning about a child who has gone on Ambedkar scholarship to US because of that. So all these things are definitely helping. And like I said, from the beginning, I've been trying to say that, instead of seeing the glasses half empty, if we keep seeing the glasses half full, and development is always a continuum. It's always the next step, the next best thing. We have achieved this, now we're going there. So that is what's we need to do. And like even on women empowerment, I have seen this. We have, in fact, the erstwhile Telugu states, Telangana, Andhra, they were the leaders in women empowerment in terms of SHG movement, microfinancing, and getting these self-help groups to do various activities. But like I said, again, we have to take the next step. That's the step that we have probably taken with Arunya by creating this FPO. We've been teaching them how to fish, but we have not taught them how to market the fish. So that's where we took the next step. So everything is an innovation. Everything we have to keep on moving ahead, and we keep going ahead. So that's probably, I hope that answers your both questions.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mahinder. Mahinder is also from MIT. Thank you. And we'll go to next question.
I have a question. This is Manjula.
Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, ma'am, it's a great introduction about you, and great to know that such a leader exists to help us. But what Cynthia has done, she has moved to India and she's been traveling back and forth to do the kind of initiatives that she's working on. But a lot of people, we are stuck in this country and we cannot travel due to our own careers or our own commitments here. So how can we help, like if in the area of interest, a lot of people, as Venkat said, like our heart is still in India, but we are stuck here in here in US and other countries. So if we are really interested in certain particular area like tribal women empowerment or any other initiatives, that is there any organizations or anything where we can approach to help out, or to do, like you said, like you can work on improving the soft skills of the students or something like that. So is there any way we can help out in other ways from here?
See, I think that's a good question. All of us just should have the will to do something. Like you have the intention to do something for your country or back home. So that's you'll definitely find a way. And if you are looking at helping tribal women, Cynthia is definitely working on that. She's identified about 4 tribal villages where they're trying to empower all the women farmers of this 4 villages. So these are organizations which probably have a connect back in the States and in India also. So you can work with these teams to, find your area of interest in the first place, and then go ahead and see, the help can be in small ways. Like during COVID time, we saw people helping out with giving used mobile phones, or recently I had just given about 300 laptops to the social welfare hostels, the SC welfare hostels, which were across Narayanpet. So we have about 300 to 400 students. So we had given them all laptops, which we had collected from various individuals and who were interested in contributing to the education profile. So these are things you can just find an initiative and you can do it. It can be small, it can be big. You can collectivize also. find other like-minded individuals and reach out. So that can easily be done.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
that's a
Thank
very
you,
good answer.
Manjula.
Sorry,
Thank you, Manjula.
Rai, if I can interject. Ma'am, probably if you're working on any initiatives and you post it on your website, people can reach out to you also, right? Is there
Yeah.
an option of that sort?
I'll definitely help out to anybody who wants to contribute in anywhere in any part of the state they want to. Whatever we can, we would definitely connect you. But just find your initiative and find the right way of doing it. Sometimes also initiatives, you never know that I want to do this till somebody else is doing it. And then you say, okay, this is good. Maybe I should contribute to it. So please feel free to do that. Find the initiatives which others are doing, and you can definitely be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We go to another question from Rajesh Padya. So before we go to that question, I want you to think about this, Harichandra. So this is from Roy Bennett, the great leaders. So great leaders create more leaders, not a followers of Facebook or Twitter. Okay. So the great leaders have a vision, they share the vision, they inspire others to create their own leaders. So keep that thought in your mind. And I'm going to come back with a question on exactly the same. So now it's Rajesh Padya. Please ask your question. Rajesh Padya, unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, if Rajesh is working.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Hi.
ma'am. I'm Rajesh Padya. So I would like to ask you a question. Like I was hearing your answers previously that you did a lot of innovative things while empowering the women, and also as you mentioned that development is a continuous process. But since while you're doing these things, there are the exploiters that they could have been affected the way that they're already exploiting the people, right? So how do you deal that kind of pressure that must be coming in all the time, day in and day out, right? So how you're dealing with that kind of pressure groups?
Thank you, Rajesh. That's a really good question. I think,
Yeah.
Harichandran garu, I think it's a tough question, but I would like to use this opportunity to educate those who are actually putting that kind of pressure, not hurting anybody's sentiments. I know we understand your positions. Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Tough question.
See, Rajesh Garu, for to answer your question, I'll just take you back to my Narayanpet journey. Like I said, I taken over just the moment COVID first wave hit, and then a lot of these women came to me saying we are in distress because we have a lot of stock left over. Our weavers, the cloth is left over. We are not able to sell. The market is not reachable to us, and these are our life savings. So if we don't sell them, we cannot feed our children. This is the kind of input that we had when we started out. And when that's my first experience, I would say, with any weaver community. I have been mostly in urban areas. My work till then had been in urban areas, so I was more familiar with urban problems. So when I'd seen this, and then I went into details about the weaver community or their problems, I realized that most of them are dependent on people like master weavers, whom you so-called call the exploitative persons in these weaving communities. So it's not just unique to Narayanpet; it is there in across all the weaver communities across the country. And these master weavers are your erstwhile type of money lenders. So they would they would give the loom to the weaver. They would probably give the yarn to the weaver. Also, a bulk lump sum money to the weaver, and tell them, see, you have to produce this much quantity, and you have to only sell it to me. So this creates a chain reaction among these weavers, and all of them are dependent on this master weaver for their needs. So during COVID, obviously they stopped. So there was a circumstance change, and they were all left with their stocks. So that's when we started with these initiatives. But as we got along working with them, and like I said, I'm always a person who sees it as glass half full. So if you kind of say that, I, I, I mean, I could have taken a stand and said we don't want master weavers. We would not encourage them. We could have probably legally cracked down on them. But then you realize that they are also filling a gap, and they are also being there for a weaver in terms of distress, maybe when they have a family issue or something, they would give them this. So the solution is not to cut the head of the serpent, as you say, but the solution is to work and create so many opportunities for these women that these people do not tend to be exploitative. So what we did with Arunya, I'll just share it as an example of what is doable. When we started Arunya, I did not touch the master weavers, neither did I crack down on them. We just started creating a better system for these women where they could earn better wages. We said, okay, you can work with the master weaver or you can work with the Arunya team, and which was held by our district rural development agency. And you can start earning, and over a period of time, these women started earning around 450 to 500 per day's work in Arunya, vis-a-vis 150, 200, which they would work otherwise. So ultimately, what happened was the master weavers also, in the end, had to increase the price of the weaves. So by I can just relate to you by giving you a small example. A silk sari of Narayanpet, when I had joined in Narayanpet, used to at the master weaver level, and in Narayanpet town, I would say, not in Hyderabad, because the other costs would be added, was costing around 4,500. Today, you ask anybody, they will not sell it to you for less than 5,600 or 6,000 in Narayanpet town. So we just simply created an ecosystem which would be more justified or justice based, and we have seen that we are providing a better system of wages to these people. Once we did that, the others had to match it. So ultimately, it is the weaver or the downtrodden who is benefiting, because we've created an ecosystem where they would not accept anything less. There is an alternate, there is an opportunity. So when we create that, when we create so many master weavers like Karunya, which is a collective, which is a women's group by itself, so when we do that, the ecosystem changes. So we should look at it that way, and we should see there would be pressures, but if we look at it in impacting it in a positive way, and see, the master weavers also could have said, we will stop working with you, had I cracked down on them. So I took the decision of not cracking down on them, but creating a parallel system where it provided better opportunities, which in turn forced them to provide better opportunities to the weavers. So that is how we have to work through things.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. That
Thank you.
answers my question.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rajesh. Thank you very much. So we'll, okay, that my thought I left with you before we went to the Rajesh. I, seeing you, your work, how you present yourself, and I see a great leader in you.
Thank you.
To remember as a great leader after your work service is done. So what is your vision and what is your plan to create many more leaders like you? Imagine if we had multiple Ambedkars. Imagine if we have multiple Harichandanas. Imagine we have multiple Mahatma Gandhis. What wonders we can do. So what do you do to create more Harichandanas? Because that's the women empowerment and creating more leaders, empowering women and bringing more women into the legal, judicial system, bringing more women into scientific research. So what you do? What do you suggest?
Thank you, Roy Garu, for considering me as a leader. And actually, I would say I'm a very passionate individual. And all of us have that passion in us. We just have to find that the channel for our passion. So we all have some passion, we all think, okay, I want to do this, or do you think it's a good idea if I do the social initiative? But we stop at the idea stage. So I would say I've just driven my passion to the level that I have to realize it. And all of us have it in us. All of you or us can reach those heights. We just have to take the first steps. And the second thing I would tell all of you is many of us don't take that first step because of the fear of failure. I'll just give you an example from my own initiatives. I had initiated the theme parks in Hyderabad when I was working with municipal corporation, and this is just an example which stuck with me all through. So I'll just share it with you as a parting thought. This was an initiative called Dog Park, where we've created India's first pet-friendly play space, and also family space where people can enjoy with their pets. So when I first broached this idea in India, it was laughed at. I was sitting in a table of 20 people, and I said, why don't we have a pet park in India where families can go with their pets, which is a part of their family? And that notion itself was so strange here. So they all laughed at me. I actually had 20 people laughing at me, saying, that's not workable. They were like people telling me, kutte ke liye kaun park banayega? And so there were all these things. So I could have just gone into my shell and said, oh my God, I shouldn't probably think of this idea at all. Or this would become a joke. This is not acceptable. So, but no, I kept on persisting, and I found one person who was supportive at that time, my minister. Mr. K.T. Ramarao Garu, he was very supportive of that idea. He said, oh, yes, let's do this. And we did it. And after that, it became a concept across the country. Everybody started picking up. I would say the same thing of my recycling initiatives. When I had started recycling in Hyderabad, people laughed at me. Chatta to chesna, I mean, some of you are famous, familiar with Telugu, so I'll say this. Chatta to chesna dabbal మీద ఎవరు కూర్చుంటారు అన్నారు. So we were recycling plastic into tiles or furniture and all these things. Now it's an industry. Now there are a lot of people, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who have started this. So if we are afraid of failures, we will never go ahead. So let us not think of it as a failure or a success. That I think the leader, any leaders or any of us who are termed as leaders, are ones who've persisted with their ideas. And sometimes you will absolutely fail with your ideas. Like many of you have seen, I've done this initiative of Feed the Need fridges. We had installed almost 45 to 50 fridges across Hyderabad city, and for recycling food waste. I mean, many of us throw away a lot of things. They're stuck in our fridges, or restaurants have a lot of stock food which is left over at the end of the day, which can actually be good if it's kept in a fridge and for a day or two and given to other people. But at that point of time, the minute we had installed these fridges, there was it was pre-COVID, and also COVID happened, and then there was we did not have a maintenance plan in place by that time, and suddenly I got transferred out, so I could not work on that plan. My successor could not take it up. So there are many things which would be a failure. Like a lot of people come and point out to me and say that you have done a great job with the fridges, but then now they're not. Some places they're not being they're not working. So that I would count as a, not as a success, but maybe as an initiative that we tried, and I can learn a lot from that initiative, in the sense that when I plan the fridges, maybe I should plan the maintenance part, and also who will be taking care of it, and how is this going to sustain itself after I get transferred out. So these are things I have learned myself. So maybe in my next initiative, I would definitely cover these gaps. And that's how if we keep looking at things, we'll definitely be successful in whatever we want. And persistence is the key. We all are change agents. All of you sitting here and listening to me today want to make a difference, want to make a change, want to bring about a positive impact on society. So we should take the commitment, and we should be afraid to fail. We should not be afraid to fail. Sorry. And even if it's a failure, or even if it is laughed at, even if it's an initiative which is not so successful, we should learn from it and move on. I think that gives us the capacity to be better leaders.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a beautiful answer. And we'll go to the next this person. Chand Akkineni is the president of IASCA Indian organization. Sir, please introduce yourself and ask the question or comment, okay?
Thank you, Chandana Garu. I was previously interacted with you with the Yellama Cheruvu. I was living in Lanco Hills, so your encouragement really motivated us. And I'm glad, the other word I was trying to describe leaders as change makers, and you brought the conversation to change agents and change managements. One thing I would like to really appreciate today, see, we all know rural women, they work hard and all that. But, as a grassroots level officer, you presented them like, perseverance and willing to change, willing to take risks. See, that's what people living in US and others need to know. Otherwise, we all have a stereotype image. Look, they're not educated. We can't educate them. We can't get jobs done on that. I think you remove that. See, I think that need to go out for people to invest in the rural communities. Couple of things I want to share with you. See, we have an organization called the Indus Entrepreneur, or TIE. Okay, it is in almost 17 countries and 72 chapters. Encourages, and the owners of the members of this own almost $300 billion worth industries. Now there is a global summit happening in Hyderabad from December 10th to 12th. Okay, what I want a presentation from here, from social entrepreneurship and that kind of a self-help things, which you can present in that event. I think it will get the global audience. Like as you were saying, we can teach fishing, but we need to market fishing. Okay, so that's the important, so that we can give. Second thing, I think you brought about the funding and other things. You might have come across a lady by name Padmaja Reddy. She was into micro help finances. Okay, that could be another alternative. Okay, I will get connection with her, invite her to Narayanpet. She has a lot of ideas. Okay, how she changed. See, the mana juttu budipoyina juttu nunchi, she helped people to create a lot of business. Okay? Very ideas, down to earth ideas, and see how we can help the women. Okay, these two things I think I would like to help and interact, and we are glad to have people like you. See, there's a stereotype image of IAS officers, they don't care, but there are exceptions who made the change, and they will take and they'll create more leaders. We all get inspired by people like you. Thank you for sharing your
thank you, Chand. Really, you're already fulfilling that the two wishes that Harichandana mentioned. One is develop a partnership and collaborate. And thank you for those connections. And I think we are going to have a future similar sessions on these kind of visionary and extraordinary committed leaders. So the best thing we can do as a NRI community is bring awareness, share what we learn and our passion. Being in America, being away from India, so the people in India need to know that we love the country more than you love, because you sit there every day, go out, complain, stereotype, but here we are emotionally bonded, emotionally connected, because we miss everything. And so we for my NRI friends and colleagues, let's take every opportunity to share what we learn, and moreover, we are exposed to the good governance. So those things also we can, instead of complaining, bitching about this is not working, that is not working, instead provide an alternative, like Harichandana mentioned, how to avoid exploiters, develop alternative systems. and compete, establish a level playing field. And thank you, Chandana. I really appreciate it's the first time I interacted with you, and I'm looking forward to know you more. I'll take that offline. And now I open, there will be one question anybody can ask. Then after that, we'll close it. Anybody have a question or comment?
Yeah, I have a question, Raji and Nagesh.
Oh, Nagesh,
Hello.
go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. So, Madam has said that she has interacted and worked with a lot of weavers and how master weavers exploit them. It is this is a phenomenon common throughout India. Even if you go to Varanasi or anywhere throughout handloom clusters, where this is the common thing. So, one thing what I observed is uh, they couldn't able to get the mudra loans properly. Mudra loans, yeah, we can get up to 10 lakhs collateral free. But these guys don't get those mudra loans. They are scared to go to the banks and get the loans, or bankers are rejecting. We don't know that one. Ultimately, the availability of credit to the marginalized communities has become a big thing, and financial inclusion has become a big problem. You know that one. So why, as of now, if you look at the data for the same mudra loans, since inception, 17 lakh crores have been disbursed. Okay, but we didn't saw the impact on reduction in unemployment. 17 lakh crores in 6 years. But why our this weavers, I too belong to the weaving community, are not getting those mudra loans for these things? Did you ever made an effort to get these loans to the weaving community? Because they are they are seeking the help of these guys, master weavers, because of the for primary reason is they are not getting credit or money to get their supplies. So don't you think that
Nagesh, what is your question? Nagesh,
the question is why mudra loans are not getting are not disbursing get disbursed to these people, weavers?
Yeah, actually, Nagesh Garu, I can tell you that we had harnessed about almost 65 lakhs of mudra loans for women weavers through this initiative called Arunya that I've done. It's not impossible, but what happens in rural areas is that many of the rural communities are not aware of their so-called CIBIL ratings. I think you've heard about the concept where their financial stability or how they're going to pay back or how they are going to give back their loans. What is their plan? Like many women I have interacted with, they just have this great idea. They said, like I can give you an example. There was one community of women who is from the tribal community. They are those they know this traditional mirror craft, lambani work, which is called. So many of them had come to me saying that we have this work, we need slightly better training in terms of material and also the purchase of the material, and also some bit of training on how to stitch it better and to suit an urban market. So the first question I asked them was, "Great idea. You have a great idea, but what? How are you going to sell it? Whom are you going to sell it to?" So the second bit, they said initially, before we started Arunya and we started reaching out to national and global markets. So they said, "Emundi ikkada pakkana Mehboob Nagar lo ammestamu." That is the nearest town, or we will sell it in our village, or we will sell it in the next village. So another group of women had come to me and said, "We want to have a small mill for turmeric and chili in Narayanpet." So the next question I asked them was, "Do you know your market? Do you know your source supply?" So Narayanpet does not grow any chili at all, or neither does it grow any turmeric. So all the turmeric has to be bought from Nizamabad, which is about 200 kilometers from Narayanpet. So they did not plan this. So these are things why we don't get a loan. This is what a banker will ask you. What I'm trying to tell you is why some people don't get a loan and why some people are able to get it. Is that maybe they have the idea, but they don't have the planning on how to execute the idea. So that is what something like-minded individuals like all of you need to have, maybe help out the rural communities in just finding the way, showing them the way that this is possible. So once I told them, okay, you now find out your source supply, or you where you're going to sell, where's your market supply. So these two teams again worked on it, then thought about it and came back. So we took the help of an organization called Aleep, which is present in Hyderabad, to guide these women on how to get their CIBIL ratings, or how to develop their business plan and present it in a better way. So it's all about presentation. Even today, if you are listening to me, it's probably because you've heard of what I've done, or through someone, or you are interested in knowing how I've done it. So it's all about conversations. It's all about how we understand the situation, how we hear about the situation. So the same as with a banker. So a banker also would ask them the same thing. And then if the woman say, we don't know, the banker would probably be suspicious that, maybe they're going to spend it on some family function or something like that. So that is where things have to move. And again, like I said, we all somewhere have a herd mentality in all of us. So this is there in all the rural areas also. We have to tell them that, see, this person has been successful, this is how it has been done, and then they take from that example. So in villages, mostly people are conversant with the money lender because they are their neighbors. They are the elderly big man in the village. So they know this person is there. That social consciousness has been ingrained in them that we have to approach the middleman or the elderly person in the village for some solution. So we have to let go, and we have to provide an alternate to these people. So if we give them a helper in the village, or we give them a financial advisor in the village, you'll definitely see the change in scenario. So that is where we all need to work on, and that's where and maybe in this sector, I would definitely say, people would trust somebody who's a non-government person than a government person. If you tell as an entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur that, listen, this is how you can get some benefit. Like Cynthia, when she'd been working with the women, when we told them that you can get loans from the government and all, they kept saying, oh, we don't know if you're eligible. I didn't get a loan. My neighbor didn't get a loan. These were the things which were happening. But the minute we had some other social entrepreneur, like Cynthia's example herself, when she had come in, initially they were all reluctant. But when then she started sharing her stories of how women took loans and started an initiative, they all took up the initiative further. So it's like a chain reaction. You see someone, you know somebody, you do that. And also this hand holding, I definitely agree, it has to be an effort from all of our sides, even from government side, that we all need to invest in hand holding these people and trying to explain to them that this is what happens. That definitely will happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that was a really good question. You covered a lot of ground on that, because it's not only weaving, the same principles, thought process will applicable to any anything, whether it's agriculture, weaving, or making toys, or anything. Same kind of principles will apply. And we have about 5 minutes left. I think we're doing good. We started a little late. We wanted to conduct this for 2 hours. So I have a question. The question is, why the role of women is so negligible and so much undermined in the political process? And we love your work. You're a civil servant, but you're implementing those jivas. Do you think of getting into legislative chambers in writing those jivas, writing those laws? Do you see a future that you will be getting into the political process?
Yeah, see, I think I don't even think of getting into the political process because it's the same side of the coin. We are doing two sides of the same coin, and in fact, politics and bureaucracy, we do the same thing almost. We do implement initiatives. We are working for the development. And contrary to many people who say that, there is a lot of political pressure to do this, that, and all this, let me tell you from my perspective, I have always thought about it in looking at it this way. We are working for the people. We are working towards fulfilling people's interests or aspirations. So if somebody has an aspiration, I don't see a geo as a wrong thing. I think it's a reflection of the society and what people want. It's a reflection of what a group of people or the people have demanded. So it has happened, and we have to ultimately answer to the common consciousness of these people who have got this thing, a GO or a law passed. So if there is a law, we have to implement it because it is a collective reflection of us, all of us. And I don't see it as a negative thing. And I see that we are doing the same thing. And like I said, I don't have any, what do you say, a pre-planned work schedule. I don't tomorrow go and say, look, I'm going to work on education. Look, I'm going to work on health. So I kind of work, and all my initiatives or even the innovations that I have done have been in response to the situation that I've been placed in. Like I've been given the task of working in the municipal corporation. So that is where we were dealing with waste management and better solutions towards waste management. So that's where my initiatives came across. Like waste management, like recycling, or even bio waste management, and all these things. These were a response to the situation that I was in. Also, if Arunya has happened, the Weavers initiatives have happened. All these are because of the need of the people of that area. So if we are working towards development, and I think politics or bureaucracy are two different channels. I could pass an exam and do this. Maybe politicians needed to go to the people to do that. That's all. It's just a matter of fulfilling people's aspirations and trying to be a part of the development of all of us. So,
but you didn't answer the first part. I know, I respect it. I leave it there. But you
I
didn't
don't
answer
need to
why.
get into politics to
No, do
fulfill
you?
what I'm already doing as a
What
bureaucrat.
is the mess? I totally respect that. You definitely answered it. But the first part is why the women are negligible in the system. Why, even if they are there, some of the women, why they have been undermined. So that part. What is your suggestions? What is
See,
your suggestions?
as a society, we've probably undervalued women. We do know that they are integral parts of our lives. We do know they are equal contributors to our economic system and also our social system. But probably we ourselves have, and as a collective, I think, the change when it comes, I've been telling in various platforms and wherever I interact with, I say start from your family. You start the discrimination, or you start undervaluing a woman from the family level, and it becomes a reflection in the larger society. So we need to start from there. If we are the change has to be sociological. We all have to change our perception, and I'm seeing definitely there is a lot of positivity in that sense. We are seeing women more and more as equal contributors, maybe more in the urban areas, but even in rural areas, I'm able to see the difference. In rural areas, you never see this difference of gender discrimination. Not through the lenses that we see. So they are important contributors. They are very crucial contributors in agriculture. Like if you look from my perspective itself, I can say almost 70% of our agriculture is by women farmers. So we just have to recognize it and mainstream the thought. We don't do that. We only think of women in terms of Devi or religious symbolism, but we don't recognize that they're equal contributors in our economic decision making. So once we start teaching our children this, there is no discrimination between you and your sister, or if you have two children, a boy and a girl, and once we start valuing the contribution of a girl equally to the family, the change will definitely come. It is slow. It is. It needs to be sparked. It needs to be enhanced. But we all need to work on it.
Wow, this is powerful message. Thank you very much. And I think we are on the dot with the time, and I think we would like to thanks all the audience. They're so wonderful. I think a meeting of this size and the duration, generally we have a lot of interruptions, and I can say that it was kind of flawless. First, thanks to all the audience and my colleagues, Global NRI Forum colleagues, and also to the Sarah Trust, Cynthia and our team, and all those who are watching online. And thank you for your time. And special thanks to Chandana Garu. And we wish you the best for whatever happening with the job and personal life. And thank you very much. And we continue to follow you, and we look forward to collaborate with you on the initiatives that are of common interest to all of us. And we can take that offline. And friends, if anybody are interested in the topics that Harichandana spoke, please reach out to myself or Cynthia. We'll connect you with Harichandana Garu. And with that, and I'm once again, thank you all the folks who are working behind the scenes, controlling the Zoom, Rajesh Kadari and Vinay Vikas and Paul Punyasamudram, and those who are indirectly helped us. And also special thanks to Ecology TV, Srinivas Dasari. Thank you for making this live, and to all those media who are helped us. Thank you once again. We really appreciate your time. And Jai Telangana and Jai Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you
very much. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Raidas. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
We're
Raidas.
closing the Zoom now.
I'll sign off. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, madam.